All right, so here we have this question, and the question is, a hydrocarbon has empirical formula CH2 and vapor density 42. Its molecular formula is, so we have option A, option B, option C, and option D. And we're given the relative atomic mass of carbon to be 12 and the relative atomic mass of hydrogen to be 1. So again, the question is, a hydrocarbon has empirical formula CH2 and vapor density 42. Its molecular formula is. So what we're looking for here is the molecular formula of this hydrocarbon, of the hydrocarbon. All right. So first of all, we were given the empirical formula. All right. So we're given the empirical formula to be what? CH2. And then we're given the vapor density to be what? 42. And then we're asked to find its molecular formula. All right. So let me put my solution here. So we're given the empirical formula, all right, EF, empirical formula to be what? To be CH2. And we're given the vapor density, VD, to be what? 42. And also, we're asked to find its molecular formula. So we're asked to find its molecular formula. That is what we don't know. All right. So the first thing that you will want to do here is to look for the relative molecular mass. All right, is to look for the relative molecular mass. So the relative molecular mass, is equal to what? 2 times what? Vd. Relative molecular mass is equal to what? 2 times Vd, because the vapor density is given. All right, so the relative molecular mass of this compound will be equal to 2 times 42, which is the vapor density. So the relative molecular mass of this compound will be equal to 2 times 42, and that will give us what? 84. All right, so the relative molecular mass of this compound, of this hydrocarbon, is what? 84. All right, so having gotten the relative molecular mass to be 84, how then do we look for the molecular formula? All right, so you should know that molecular formula of a compound is equal to what? The n multiple of what? The empirical formula. All right, this is the relationship between molecular formula and empirical formula. Molecular formula is equal to the n multiple of what? The empirical formula. All right, and what is the empirical formula? The empirical formula is what? CH2. So the molecular formula is equal to n open bracket what? CH2. All right, so we don't know the value of n, so we've got to look for the value of n. All right, so now that we have the relative molecular mass of the hydrocarbon to be 84, I can say that relative molecular mass is equal to n open bracket C plus what? H2. You know that relative molecular mass is the summation of the relative atomic masses of the elements. All right, so the reason why we're doing this is to look for the value of what? N, so that we can get our molecular formula. So the relative molecular mass is what? 84. So this is 84 is equal to n open bracket. The relative atomic mass of carbon is what? Is 12. So this is 12 plus the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. 1 times 2 atoms of hydrogen that I have here will give us what? 2 bracket close. So this will be 84 is equal to 12 plus 2 will give us what? 14. 14 times n will give us what? 14n. So to look for the value of n, my n will be equal to what? 84 divided by what? 14. And that will be equal to 84 divided by 14 will give us what? 6. So my n is equal to 6. So now that I've gotten my n, I can now look for the molecular formula. All right, so from here I have that molecular formula is equal to n open bracket CH2. All right, molecular formula is equal to the n number of what? n multiple of the empirical formula. So my molecular formula will be equal to, my n is what? My n is 6, open bracket, CH2. Alright, so my molecular formula will be equal to 6 times C will give me what? C6. 6 times 2 will give me what? 12. That will be what? H12. So the molecular formula of this compound is C6H12. Alright, so that makes option D to be what? The correct answer. So this is actually a very simple but technical question. Alright, so you've got to understand the relationship between relative molecular mass and vapor density. Alright, know this, that relative molecular mass is equal to 2 times vapor density. Then also know the relationship between molecular formula and empirical formula. So you should know that molecular formula is equal to the whole number multiple of what? Of the empirical formula. So this is very important. And also you should know the relationship between relative molecular mass and empirical formula. So the relative molecular mass of a compound is equal to the n summation of what? Of the empirical formula. So all these are very important. All right. Okay.